Alright, we have LF Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks' full abilities here. They have posted them officially. I'm just gonna record just to see, in case if there's anything ridiculous in this kit, that maybe I might actually have to post a video on this guy, because just maybe, we'll see. So far from the video, he seems to be more of like an early game character who, again, seems to be strong early game. He has some interesting gimmicks and stuff with his blue card, his ultimate as well. So I'm going to be curious how that actually fully plays out, plus with the rest of his kit. So let us see. So strengths, of course, overwhelming early game power. Offensive abilities useful in the mid game and beyond. Make the most of vanishing step. Restores by 60. Ooh, okay, so he's one of these characters. All right. And then support allies. All right. I don't really like reading this part because I just get a better understanding of what he actually does from his actual kit. That's just how I am. So let's just jump straight to his actual kit. He restores 10% vanish for every strike and blast card he uses upon activation. I mean, that's pretty good. He has no blast armor, obviously, on strikes, but I mean, who would have expected him to have blast armor on strikes, honestly, when no other Gotenks character in the game has had that? So, not really too surprising. Actually, does Fat Gotenks have blast armor on his strikes? Actually, I have no idea. I don't remember, honestly. So yeah, the blue card, he does go neutral for 10 counts upon activation. Okay, that's way longer than I thought. I thought it was only gonna be for like 3 timer counts, just enough for the actual blue card to go type neutral, and then that's pretty much it. He goes for 10 counts, so you can make some interesting plays with that. All right, and then applies flying effects to self, applies flying effect to enemy on hit. 60% chance to reduce the enemy's Dragon Balls by 1, and then a 20% chance to inflict feints. That is definitely gonna be quite toxic. And if the gauge is filled up, then he gets an extra 40% special damage inflicted for 3 counts. And then, of course, he does have blast armor on it, of course. Why wouldn't he? Green card, I'm pretty sure it's just a power-up green card. So luckily, it's not an AoE green or anything. Randomly draws 1 new card. Restores on ki by 50. Restores on vanish gauge by 60% just every time. Okay. 100% the only unique gauge charge rate for 10 counts cannot be stacked. Destroys 3 of your enemy's cards. Enemy's strike card specifically. Okay. Very interesting. And then an extra 30% damage inflicted if the gauge is full. And he gets cover null for 5 counts as well if the gauge is full using a green card. Okay, that's definitely a good green card. I mean, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of people using with like green card spamming teams to potentially make use of this and just give him infinite cards, infinite vanish, infinite ki, everything. Plus, if he has his gauge built up, then he's going to be getting cover null and extra damage every time while stealing the enemy's strikes. That's a pretty good green card, honestly, in my opinion. That's a pretty good one. All right, so the ultimate deals massive impact damage, 30% ultimate damage inflicted for 3 counts, destroys all your own cards upon activation, and based on the types of cards destroyed, the effect varies. So if he destroys a strike card, he gets an extra 50% strike damage inflicted for 10 counts. Okay, so the buffs are only for 10 counts. I was thinking maybe there's a chance it could have been permanent or something like this, I guess. I was hoping it was kind of permanent because it would have been more interesting and better. I mean, this is not bad because, I mean, he can definitely make use of these buffs after he lands the ultimate, but you definitely won't be able to make as much use of them as you would maybe like, depending on the situation. So, of course, 50% strike damage inflicted for 10 counts if a strike card gets destroyed. If a blast card gets destroyed, 50% blast damage inflicted for 10 counts. If a blue card gets destroyed, minus 50% the enemy sustained damage cut effects for 10 counts. If a green card gets destroyed, plus 50% the critical rate for 10 counts. I mean, that could definitely be interesting, but okay. I mean, it's an interesting ability. Oh, okay. And then he does draw his hand back. All right, that's pretty good. He does draw a whole new hand when he actually lands the ultimate. The one downside, though, is he doesn't have endurance nullification. At least as a right. Wait. Okay, never mind. This is why you gotta read your full kits, guys. He has it in his main ability. All right, I was about to say, I don't know if I was a big fan of this ultimate. If it had no endurance nullification, he at least gets it from his main ability. Okay. On top of the fact that he draws at most 3 new cards and you have 3 or fewer. So pretty much when you use his ultimate, you will pretty much have a full hand, so you will be able to guarantee yourself at least, you know, a good amount of these buffs, unless you get very unlucky and draw like a full hand of blasts or a full hand of strikes, honestly. I gotta remember this Gotenks is actually a range type character, so preferably he does want the blast based buff, actually. Preferably the blast based buff and the sustained damage cut penetration buff. That would be nice. And potentially the critical rate, you know, that could be quite nice. And then he does... Oh, he charges on unique gauge by 100% on main ability as well. Okay. And he goes neutral. Ooh, okay, so he can technically go neutral for his ultimate as well. Alright. I like that. At least they're giving him ways to actually deal with Ultra Turles. Ultra Turles is immediately the first character that comes to mind, you know, in terms of the big time character that can easily counter him. That, and I guess Vegito as well is still a problem, obviously. Short zone sub counts by 2 by default. Okay, that could definitely be interesting for sure. Applies full effects to self when battle starts. So this is just permanent. He has this at all times. This is not the buffs he gets specifically for the first half of the battle, as you can see right here. So he just gets 140% damage inflicted at the start. Reduces damage received by 70%, 70% the key recovery. He does get card draw speed, thank God. I was mentioning this in the reveals and stuff reaction that I was hoping he got card draw speed just baseline, and then he got an extra level of card draw speed for the first half of the battle or whatnot. He does. So he does have just level 2 card draw for at least the first 100 counts of the fight. And afterwards, he still has at least level 1 card draw. So, okay, that's not bad. And then -5 to arts cost, which is not bad. Then for the first 100 counts, he gets an extra 30% damage inflicted, more card draw speed, an extra -5 to arts cost, 20% health restoration, plus 50% the unique gauge charge rate. He's permanent defensive neutral, and he's immune to attribute downgrades in normal conditions. Alright, so he's obviously, again, going to be significantly better in the first half of the fight, which is not a problem whatsoever, honestly. It depends on just how good exactly he ends up being the first half of the fight. So when he enters a battlefield, he restores on health by 15%, ki by 30. This is going to combo very well with his 20% health restoration buff that he gets. 100% damage inflicted. just straight up 100% damage inflicted when he enters the battlefield. So, okay, 100% plus 140. Plus 30% that he gets for the first 100 counts. That's like 270% damage inflicted already. That's not even counting the extra damage inflicted he could potentially get from his unique gauge building up. His green card potentially giving him extra damage. Then these extra buffs he could get from his ultimate stuff. Okay, alright, okay. That's, he's looking kind of interesting right now, I'm not gonna lie. Reduces impact, explode, and slice damage received by 10% for 10 counts. That could actually help out a decent bit to help him tank. He does get covered all only for 5 counts when he enters the battlefield. I mean, at least he gets it guaranteed every time he enters the battlefield, but that is... 5 counts is maybe a little bit short, honestly, but okay. I mean, we'll see how that goes. Destroys one enemy strike and blue card every time it's the battlefield. That could actually be a really good defensive ability. Okay. Falling effects occur when this character performs a vanishing step, randomly destroys one of your own cards and draws a green card next, activates 3 times. That's very good, considering his green card literally gives him 60% vanish back. Alright, okay, that's pretty good. Destroys one of your enemy's strike cards as well. And he inflicts them with a -1 to arts card draw speed for 5 counts as well. Okay. He has a special cover changing on strike cards that can be comboable into a blue card. Charges on unique gauge every time this character uses an arts card over there on the battlefield. Falling effects occur once unique gauge is full. He draws 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer. Restores on ki by 50. An extra 20% damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Effects reset the character switch. Oh, okay, so it's not a stacking buff. I mean, honestly, that's kind of good, because then his damage will just get way too ridiculous. So already, just with that alone, first half of the fight, he's at 290% damage inflicted once he gets his unique gauge. I would imagine his unique gauge probably isn't that hard to get. I mean, I have no idea. We'll see once he actually comes out in game. But he's getting that on top of the other buffs. Like, he could do some really insane damage. Oh, then he just gets 10% extra damage inflicted. That actually stacks up to 5 times. So he can actually just build up an extra 50% damage inflicted. So okay, you build that up a few times, and then you get this. That's 70% damage inflicted. If you happen to somehow get that within the first 100 counts, that's 340% damage. Bro, oh my god, wow. Hold up, wait a minute. Then he's building up -4 to enemy sustained damage curve effects to allies. Up to 5 times. He's at that point, what? It'll be -20%. Sustained damage cut penetration for everyone on the team. That's actually, that I feel is going to be a pretty underrated ability, honestly. Then he's also sealing enemy strikes and blue cards. Bro has a vendetta against strike and blue cards. What the hell? I kind of rate it, though, for 5 counts. If only unique gauge is full and this character switches to standby, resets to 0, and the following effects occur. He draws 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer, so that's going to be very good for characters that don't draw a card automatically when they enter the battlefield. So it's almost like a support effect, actually, which is pretty nice. He then buffs his own next art's damage inflicted by 50% whenever he comes back the next time. And then he restores ally health by 10% and ki by 50. So again, you get his gauge, and he'll support you when he switches out into whatever character you swap into. So that's a pretty good effect. You don't underestimate that. This guy has endurance. He has endurance as well. And then when the endurance procs, he restores on up by 30%, obviously, and then gives an extra 30% damage inflicted to allies. Shortens own sub count by 3 when the enemy activates a blue card ultimate. Awaken Arts or Rising Rush. What? So you're telling me on top of everything else he does, and on top of doing insane damage, because let me tell you, this guy is going to do damage with the ways he has of getting damage inflicted. Because again, he can it all depends mainly on his unique gauge. It depends on how quick you can actually get the unique gauge. I guess the annoying thing is building this up could take a little bit, because now that I just remembered, the gauge only resets if he actually swaps out and then comes back in and then fills up the gauge again. So it's not like you can just build up the gauge multiple times in just one switch in with this guy. You have to swap him in and out multiple times. So doing that 5 times over to fully build up this buff and this buff could be maybe a little long, I guess, but depending on how that goes, regardless, he still has a lot of damage inflicted. He has level 2 card draw speed. He has multiple ways of going neutral. You know, endurance elevation. He has endurance himself. He supports as well. He has multiple ways of getting vanish back, whether it's from his green card or his strikes and blasts. So he definitely seems solid. He definitely doesn't seem, at least to me, like new #1 in the game or anything. He seems like definitely he could be top 10 for sure, at least in my opinion. I mean, that's just me, but he definitely does seem pretty good. All right, he seems good, but you know, he's definitely not really introducing anything like super overly broken or anything, at least in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think of him in the comment section down below, and good luck if you summon for him, because I will be skipping. So see y'all.